Master Grade Aile Strike Gundam version Remaster. Hey, what's up again, everybody? It's Robert184, 2Rs2Bs, GundamReviews.net. The Master Grade Remastered Aile Strike is all complete. You've seen everything from the unbox to the MS, and I'm going to give my final thoughts, good and bad, about this kit. And don't forget that you can go and leave your comments down below and go to GundamReviews.net and vote whether you like or dislike this kit. I'm especially interested to see it in comparison to the old MG Aile. To kick things off here with the negatives, well, how about this first one? The box art for me is just going to be so-so. The old one is going to be looking dated, but at the same time, it's got a more iconic pose, and the vertical direction always seems better in terms of regular master grades. But of course, to each their own. Something that I think some people may not like, though, about this one is the head design. He is going to have some channels there, especially on the side of the fins, or on the side of his mouth there, and they're going to be coming across as just a little bit too thick. When you go in there with your ink, it's the kind of thing where everything else just seems so perfectly done, except that eye catch there right under the actual eyes. Right down there below, you can see that he's on top of the catapult. Does that disappoint you that it's exactly the same? They're remastering, they're doing all sorts of great things. I think it's a great catapult. You saw some of the fun gimmicks that you can have launching the MS there successfully or unsuccessfully. But at the same time, it just seems like if you're 10 years on, they should have come up with something a little bit better. Or if this had come out with Freedom, for example, then it could be thrown in with Strike. It just seems redundant. We're buying the same MS again and we're getting the exact same accessory. The wings themselves on the Aile Striker pack there are going to feel a little bit flimsy when you assemble them together, and that's because the flaps moving up and down just don't come across as being all that solid. And in terms of falling off parts, yes, I did have quite a few. The hips can't even count almost a dozen times. And when I was taking it off here, the action off the catapult base, the rear skirt just totally came off here. I had the whole back remove itself, which was pretty funny to see when I took off the Aile Striker pack. And the ankle armor down here actually has come off a couple times as well, although it is going to be looking better than the old one. In terms of the hands, I know there's a lot of people out there who like the 3-finger trigger finger splits. Remember, if you saw the parts, you can swap in the old ones if you want there. Other people are going to be content with the 4 that you're going to be getting, and you are getting some extra ones if you want to go perfect. So you do get lots of options. It's just unfortunate that everything else is getting better manipulators, it seems, as we talk about things like Shinanju and Jesta, and of course the 3.0, can't wait to see there. It just seems that 10 years on, this was a step back. The Aile pack itself is going to be leaning backwards a little bit. That's always been a problem. I've got it on my real grade, pretty pronounced there. And basically, I don't know if it's the fault of the strange polycap on the inside, but assembling it just came across as a little bit strange. You'll know the step that I'm talking about when you get there. In the middle one, you're just dropping a polycap into the middle of nowhere with no real guide for it. And when you do want to go extend it for the perfect mode, you are going to have the red armor there on the back just detach itself. Something that a drop of glue, of course, could take care of it. In terms of the weapons, what do you think of the small armor Schneiders? Those are the kinds of things where the old one just seems to come across as a little bit better, though this one is going to have some better details into it. And the hand grip on the shield is going to be seemingly well designed, but it's actually very difficult to get it in with the right proper grip there and actually have the peg attached inside. So it's the kind of thing where I've just cheated there. It's got an open hand, it's still going to be looking really good, and the shield is going to have lots of options. It's just unfortunate you can't get it in its prime one where it's actually going to hold it without seeming to want to just knock off a whole bunch of pieces in the process. And probably my biggest knock against this is spinning into view there. Yes, a roll of the dice is going to be revealing 5 every time with this guy. Are you a fan or not? Is it too big a change on the MS design? That, of course, is going to be up to you. But how about the positives? Well, as he spins into view, that right there has to be number 1, I'd say, on the list, just in terms of his looks. In no particular order, when you crack the box open, you're getting 4 pilots. They've acknowledged Mu's existence and his sacrifice, which did or didn't happen. Yes, thank you, Seed Destiny. But ultimately, you're getting 2 pilot suits, 2 normal suits. They both look great if you want to paint them up. I've got Mu in here just to differentiate it. Why not? He makes the impossible possible. Well done there on All Around Bandai for including it. The proportions, I think, are going to be the most important aspect of this guy. Some people complained that the old head was going to be too wide, whereas with this one, you've got a much more stylish, sharper head, and this one does look a little bit dated when you see it side by side. And the gray that's going to be exposed here throughout, you just see so many parts, especially on the waist section. It's just a huge bonus compared to the old days where you had to decide, do I go in there with the waist skirt with a gray lining marker, a black lining marker, some actual ink, paint it up, spray paint it, whatever you had to do. This one, they're making the choices easy for you because the lining options they provide are perfect, and there's so much gray that right out of the box, he is going to be looking good. The wings, they're working well. Somebody said in the comments, hey, my wings had no problem going up, and even though it felt a little bit pressured the first time, anyway, they are going to be going up and down, so that's a pleasant surprise. Love the fact that they fold down so you can get them out of the way of the other MSs that you've got on your shelf. Every once in a while, this guy just came across as being too wide. And the fact that he's got the flaps there moving up and down, huge pluses, just tons of play options. And how about the insides of those thrusters there? And when you're putting it together, it's the kind of thing you almost don't want to put those red caps on and have them sitting forward, sort of like a Zaku Mine Layer pose. Because when you see the kinds of details that went in there, Bandai put in a lot of effort for something that's not often going to be seen. It shows how much they cares. The same thing applies to the Adidas stripes. You could just be putting on the 3 of them, but instead you're going to have 3 nice bars there. Was it for copyright infringement? I don't know, but I think these ones look really good. It breaks up the colors back there on the back, which are already looking pretty sharp, and everything about that Aile Striker pack in terms of looks, besides the plainness perhaps of that white stabilizer, is looking great. The knees are also going to be a huge plus there, as I think they just bend so smoothly. You can see the way that they both bend up and bend down the minute you put them back in place. No fuss, no muss whatsoever there. The beam sabers, I think, in hand are going to be oversized in terms of the actual handle. Looking great when they're in the back. They're going to be uber positional. You can move them around all over the place back there. The shield has some nice details. Perhaps gray underneath would have been a nice touch, but hey, the lining's going to be looking good, and from the front, you can see the details and the eye holes. Everything about it looks great. And the details that you're going to be getting from the beam rifle, a huge step up from the old plain one. Clear parts there, paint them up if you want, seals if you don't want to. And ultimately, let's just talk about the big ones, the colors of this guy. Everything about this guy is going to pop, and I think that's one of the best parts about the remastered high grades, is that they've took that old, dull style of colors. Not to say that the old one for the Aile Strike was dull, but this one just seems to pop in terms of his proportions, his colors, and ultimately the biggest reason that I'm a huge fan of this kit is that he's solid. It seems if you've been watching my reviews lately, my high-grade unicorn has fallen off the shelves a number of times. Real grades, flimsy, but definitely looking cool. But the old school Strike for me was a great kit because it just felt solid the minute you put it together. And this guy is going to take something that felt solid and great and turn it into something that is exceptional. Final verdict, well, I'm just happy that we got a version 2.0. Anytime we're getting a lead Gundam, never mind one with this much effort in terms of its engineering, is always going to be a plus, and you'd hope it gets applied to the leads that we're missing over the years. He's rock solid, he recreates the poses, and he totally captures the power of the anime. I can't really think of a kit off the top of my head that does it so well in terms of taking his iconic poses and bringing them home. You almost want to have multiples of this guy, showing him off in all of his poses. It didn't come too soon. I built the regular Strike again just before this, and it didn't feel repetitive in any way, shape, or form. Seeing that 8, 9, 10 years of progress that we've got with the inner frame there is incredible, and even if you've built up all of the seed bad guys, zero repetition in terms of you're not going to be unhappy with anything that you see. Building something this well designed again and again is going to be a treat, especially when he looks this good at the end. Well, how about for the future? As the Strike Gundam is already through the roof with its Robert ranking, this one... And how about the future, as the Strike Gundam is already through the roof with its Robert ranking? It's done well with the new high-grade Perfect Strike, giving us some more Striker packs there. And it's really going to be a question of, we've got an HG, it's not a 2.0, but an MG 2.0 is such a rare honor that the fact that this was afforded one is just a huge plus. Where could it go from here? You've got to wonder, would they ever go mega size with something like this? Probably, I think a lot of the impetus is going to be gone just because the HD remaster has already moved on to Seed Destiny. But what recolors will we be getting? This was such a popular kit the first time in Master Grade. Strike Rouge seems absolutely inevitable. IWSP, would we get another one of those? Could they be adding some more Striker packs? Oh, let's say in something like they've got Seed Destiny, a stray R and B. And ultimately, I suppose, if you want to talk about just the Strike itself, will we ever get a PG Perfect? That would be a lot of fun. But to focus on the remaster line, well, what about a Freedom? It's only a year on from the Strike Gundam, and a year from now, could we be getting, if Bandai can sell it, you know they'll want to do it with this incredible inner frame. What could they do with the wings? I already love the fact that you could bring the cannons forward on that Master Grade, but I think the big elephants in the room are just the fact that we haven't got a Master Grade Justice or a Master Grade Providence, not to mention Seed Destiny, but it would be nice if they've already done the 5 bad guys to just finish off the most famous kits from Gundam Seed in proper Master Grades, 2.0s and all. And stick around because I'm going to be reviewing the Master Grade Launcher and Sword, so you can also see the old Strike in there again, Anyway, I'm really excited to then put these all together. I wanted the focus just to be on the Aile this time, but to see the perfect actually recreated, we've already seen it in high grade. Let's check out the master grade from here on. Anyway, everybody, thanks a lot for watching. Don't forget to go to gundamreviews.net and vote whether you like this kit or the old one. And of course, stick around for lots more news, reviews, and everything else you can use. Thanks for watching. Bye. Kira, you never even moved here for the whole review. I know. I'm shelf-worthy just as is.